We begin with Donald Trump's running mate, Indiana Governor Mike Pence. Governor, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Good to be with you, Brett.
Governor, there's a new poll out this morning, a Washington Post ABC poll, and it shows the race essentially tied within the margin of error. It's 4 points, but if you look at it, it's exactly the same as it was before the conventions. I want to get your state of the race, and considering that some states, Republican states like Utah, Arizona, Georgia, even your own state of Indiana, according to some polls, are very tight. What is happening out there?
I think what's happening is this is a highly contested election, and it's going to be fought all the way to the finish. I couldn't be more proud to be standing shoulder to shoulder with Donald Trump as he articulates an agenda to make America great again. And I have to tell you, the crowds that I saw across Florida, the crowds that gathered with Donald Trump yesterday in New Hampshire and Maine are all just determined to bring real change to this country, Brett. I mean, look, the last 7.5 years have weakened America's place in the world, stifled America's economy, and begun to walk away from our most cherished constitutional principles. And as Donald Trump did last Sunday night in the debate, we're going to continue to frame this campaign around the issues that matter most to the American people. And I think that's why the polls are close, and I think that's why we've got a great opportunity, a great opportunity for a great victory come November the 8th.
Governor, Donald Trump has not let up. He's campaigning all the time. He does it in his own Trump way. But yesterday he said something that did raise some eyebrows. Take a listen.
We should take a drug test prior, because I don't know what's going on with her. But at the beginning of her last debate, she was all pumped up at the beginning. And at the end, it was like, oh, take me down. She could barely reach her car.
Governor, do you think Secretary Clinton should take a drug test before Wednesday?
Well, look, all I know for sure is that Donald Trump's going to be ready for the debate on Wednesday night. And the American people are going to see someone who is prepared to lead this country, prepared to bring the kind of strength and determination that it's going to require to really turn this country around. Look, more than 7 out of 10 Americans know our country's headed in the wrong direction. And Donald Trump has articulated a message of strength, a message of rebuilding our military, reviving our economy, not through the tax increases that Hillary Clinton's advocating, expanding Obamacare and open borders policies that she actually advocated in a speech in Brazil, but through the kind of policies that have always revived America's strength at home and abroad. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the debate, and I know he'll be ready for it come Wednesday.
All right, drug test or not, I want to ask you some specific policy questions in just a minute. But I know you've answered these questions about the accusations. There's a new one out today, now 9 women with these allegations. And I know you've said that they're politically motivated and they're all not true. But I want to ask you 2 things about the way Donald Trump has talked about them and pushed back hard, denying them, saying on numerous occasions, how could this be true? Look at her. Have you talked to your daughter about that defense and this whole issue, and how do you explain that?
Well, let me just say that I thought it was right and proper last weekend for Donald Trump to apologize for the offensive comments that he made in a video that was released 11 years ago on an open microphone. He said he was embarrassed. He apologized to his family. He apologized to the American people. But frankly, you know, the timing of these unsubstantiated claims that have come forward, all of which Donald Trump has categorically denied, is, I think, deeply troubling to millions of Americans. I know there's countervailing evidence that's coming out right now, and more information will probably come. But the American people are very troubled. Once again, here we are in an election of such enormous magnitude in the life of this nation. And once again, the media is piling on with unsubstantiated claims as the headlines, while they ignore an avalanche of hard evidence about corruption, pay-to-play, political favoritism emanating out of Hillary Clinton's years as Secretary of State. I mean, we found out this week, Brett, that while she was Secretary of State, her officials in that department actually directed reconstruction contracts in Haiti to friends of the Clintons. This is precisely the kind of pay-to-play politics she said wasn't happening, as their foundation accepted tens of millions of dollars from foreign governments. And just this morning, the New York Times is reporting that in exchange for a 5-minute meeting, the government of Qatar pledged $1 million to the Clinton Foundation. You know, the American people are tired of all of this, and frankly, they're very tired, present company accepted, they're very tired of most in the national media who would go running after unsubstantiated allegations that Donald Trump has categorically denied, and while they willfully ignore an avalanche of hard evidence about Clinton's corruptions and scandals.
Well, about the WikiLeaks emails, you know, I know you look at the substance of those, and we've been covering the substance inside those emails as well, extensively here on Fox. But are you concerned at all about the fact that Russia, according to U.S. intelligence officials, has hacked into these computers and is, according to the intel officials, trying to influence this election in one way or another?
Well, I think there's no question that the evidence continues to point in that direction, and we should follow it where it leads. And there should be severe consequences to Russia or any sovereign nation that is compromising the privacy or the security of the United States of America. I mean, Donald Trump, more than a month ago, gathered a group of some of the leading cybersecurity experts in this country and announced our plans to strengthen the security of this country on the Internet, and we will do that.
Is a cyber attack?
But make no mistake about it. My hope is that as the Vice President said on another network this morning, that there would be consequences. My hope is that this administration will follow through on that, because the President of France just this weekend said that the Obama administration's foreign policy that Hillary Clinton created of moving red lines in Syria actually was interpreted as a weak position for America and emboldened Russia to invade Ukraine and take a much larger role in Syria. We've got to follow through on our word. And we ought to follow the facts where they go. We got to protect the cybersecurity of this country. My hope is this administration will follow through this time.
I want to squeeze in two more questions quickly. Iranian-backed Houthi rebels firing on U.S. Navy ships. The U.S., despite firing cruise missiles back at these satellite installations, what would you recommend as Vice President, if it's President Trump, the U.S. military do? Should the Navy expand these strikes, or is there some fear of Iran being drawn into a war there?
The United States Navy and the United States of America cannot tolerate aggressive action against our warships. But it's important to remember that the militia in Yemen that's firing those missiles has been supported by Iran. And this administration, with Hillary Clinton's full assent, just delivered $150 billion that the Iranians said they were putting in their defense budget. And it could well be that some of that $150 billion, including $1.7 billion in cash, made its way to Yemen and is subsidizing these very attacks against U.S. naval warships. Look, we've got to rebuild our military. We have the smallest United States Navy since 1916. We have the smallest standing army since the end of World War II. When Donald Trump becomes President of the United States of America, we're going to rebuild our military, and we're going to stand tall on the world stage, and we are not going to tolerate aggression against American forces or American interests, whether it comes from Yemen or is subsidized from any other country like Iran.
Governor Pence, I just have a few seconds left. What advice would you give your nominee for Wednesday's debate?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, Brett.
Well, what advice would you give your nominee for Wednesday's debate, quickly?
Well, I would just tell him just be himself again. I thought in the first two debates, Donald Trump brought that authentic voice that has really given voice to the aspirations and frustrations of millions of Americans to a national stage. And he clearly won the debate last Sunday night because he was talking about the issues that matter most to the American people: restoring our military, standing tall in the world again, reviving this economy, creating jobs, upholding the Constitution in the Supreme Court of the United States. I mean, I understand why many in the national media, present company accepted, want to talk about everything else except the issues. But Donald Trump won that debate last Sunday, and he's going to win the debate on Wednesday because he's going to keep talking about the issues that matter most to the American people, and the chance that we can make a change of the fundamental direction of this country back to a stronger and more prosperous nation.
Governor Pence, we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Brett.